YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here, back in Total War Shogun 2, where we are loading into the Ishiyama ruins. This is going to be the Marvelist versus Eternal Flame. And I've been told that these are pretty interesting replays in the sense that I believe it is, and we'll take a look at the armies when we get in here and confirm what I was told. These were sent to me by a Mr. Attila the Hun. I suppose none other than the Hun himself, who's facing me in the West Rome campaign. No, I'm just kidding. That was just the name of the person who sent me these, and I appreciate it. Let's take a look at the general. So we got a gun gen over there for the Marvelist. And over here for Eternal Flame, let's take a look at his army. We do not see everything just yet. A couple of your yeah, we do. Oh my, yeah, this is a melee gen, a Bushido general. So basically this general is focused around stamina, charge speed, and all that kind of stuff. So he's going to have a melee build here. Sure enough. I see two Yariki over here escorting the general. We've got a Red Bear infantry, a Yarikachi with pretty high rank doing some, what the heck is that? So, yeah, it's a general's ability that's, I think, has something to do with stamina, so he's moving up faster. So that's interesting. Another elite Red Bear infantry in the center, escorted by a Katanakachi, and then it looks like a Red Bear and two Red Bears and another Katanakachi. Now, Katanakachi, Yarikachi. Yarikachi have rapid advance, and they can be very quick on the battlefield and protect themselves versus cavalry. And this gun general here has got nice range. He's already got 10 kills. Let's see, we've got Yariki. I wonder if this is a fairly standard build. There's a Spear Levy here. Black Bears. Vermilion Bird Force is an interesting choice. White Tiger Force, so very cheap infantry right there. Yariki, a Sharpshooter unit. So that's a cheaper 150 range unit. Let's see what happens here. Let's see if the melee rush can connect with the Bushido general. That is interesting indeed, that general's ability. I'm not super familiar with what this general's ability is, but I'm assuming it's probably improving like movement speed or something like that, I guess. I don't know. Now remember that cavalry can capture for the Bushido generals. These Yariki are getting torn apart. Absolutely torn apart, but there's more coming in that aren't getting as torn apart. So let's see, the Yarikachi moving up quickly, the Katanakachi moving up the center, going to get hit hard from the flank, and it's going to be caught by a Yariki as well. So let's see how the rush is going over here, though. So the melee rush is kind of connecting over here. Lots of casualties on the rush, though. So let's just see how it's going. Let's see if the, yeah, there's some Katanakachi there. Yarikachi, or that's a Spear Levy for the other team. So very interesting here to see what we've got. Let's see how well this melee is doing. There is a Red Bear infantry here. The Yarikachi has connected. This Katanakachi is going to connect here, and there's very few men left here, but they should damage this White Tiger Force pretty badly, if not completely destroy it. In melee and in shooting, White Tiger Force is pretty crappy. The only benefit to them is that they're cheap. And sure enough, that White Tiger Force is going to bite it. This hill does kind of block the line of sight up here, which is somewhat nice, so it's hard for fire to be poured in. There's a Vermilion Bird Force that's now being caught by Katanakachi as well. But there's a lot of shooting going on here. This is a Revolver Cavalry here. So this is going to be bad news for the melee build if they don't have a speedy answer to it. The Revolver Cavalry can very quickly tear up a blob like this, and indeed the Katanakachi and the Yariki both eat it, and the Revolver Cavalry is still going strong. This Vermilion Bird Force has now fallen back to a it's not a very great position, but it's a position where they can provide some support. I do believe at this point the melee rush is probably in trouble. This Yarikachi, though, is somewhat fast, and here they have actually caught the Revolver Cavalry because it was not microed away, and they will make very short work of the Revolver Cavalry in melee. So it's going to need to flee, and it should be able to flee. This is the problem over here, though. The Vermilion Bird Force able to do some work. This Red Bear infantry needs to get up here and start hitting the Vermilion Bird Force and the general. Very nice Yariki charge here into the Red Bear infantry. The elite Red Bear in the center. Already 110 kills, not a single loss, so that's pretty effective so far. This Yariki now being mismicroed, left here and shot to pieces. Or Yarikachi, sorry, not a Yariki. This Yarikachi still pushing forward. So, pushing hard forward. Again, the elite Red Bear doing some pretty serious damage here. Still hasn't lost a man, 130 kills. This unit has been extremely cost efficient. So, the Yarikachi continuing to rush forward. These units, what they should do is, one should split off. This can only pursue one unit at a time. By falling back in a straight line, it's benefiting this Yarikachi. If they split up, they'd be able to shoot it while it chased them. Right here, this is exactly what he needed to do. So now it's a death trap for the Yarikachi. This is going to be close. It's going to be pretty close. This Imperial Guard infantry right here is going to absolutely waste the Red Bear infantry. This is a very capable infantry unit, suppressive fire, but the Red Bears get a charge, and they get a pretty darn good charge downhill, considering that they were about to die anyway. They just dropped that unit about 10 or 15 men real fast, and now it's going to get shot to death by another Red Bear. The Yarikachi over here is catching the fleeing Black Bear infantry, so that's pretty nice, but it's going to be getting shot up pretty bad, and it's not being given orders to continue to follow. So let's see what we got left here. We got an elite Red Bear infantry with 139 kills that still has not taken a loss. You've got the Red Bear infantry here and a Yarikachi that's kind of falling apart. The general is still alive for Eternal Flame, and he is capturing he's uncapping the workshop. Let's see, so Eternal Flame controls the sword dojo, and he also controls the archery dojo, so that's very, very helpful for Eternal Flame. Let's see what he can do here, though. There's a 150 range sharpshooter. This Red Bear is going to have to use that advantageous position in the woods very well. Red Bear infantry here trading with a Vermilion Bird Force. The Vermilion Bird Force, the superior unit, but with the support of this elite Red Bear infantry, it probably will get overwhelmed here. It's going to have to fall back. It is wavering under suppressive fire. We can't see this unit up here just because it's hidden. It's not because it's gone. Starting to get some wavering here, though. This workshop's going to be captured, but I'm not sure how important the workshop is. We kind of need the general up here to support the morale. This 150 range Red Bear kind of probably ought to be focusing over here rather than trying to get the Vermilion. We'll see what happens here. This is going to be kind of close, though. If they take up position here in the woods, they might have a chance. Let's kind of see what happens here. So Eternal Flame taking some pretty... Oh, yeah, he's got a unit singled out over here. This is rough. But very nice shots there, killing a number of the gun general. And killing the gun general is always a good thing. This unit's going to get completely overwhelmed, though. And if the general gets around behind him, it's going to be trouble. I wouldn't take the general into this fight at all if I were Marvelist. I think it's crazy to bring this general in against Red Bear. You lose your general at this point in the game, and you're going to probably lose the battle just because there's so few troops left. So I definitely disagree with that. Plus, I mean, you're just risking a lot of losses here. He's down to 14 men. If this Red Bear just gets one more shot at your general, it can turn the whole battle. It's a question of whether it's going to get that shot, though, because of the weird lines of sight here in the forest. Fortunately, though, that forest is the only thing keeping this Red Bear alive because it's taking a lot of flanking fire. Yeah, that general's probably going to get away from the Red Bear. The Red Bear probably ought to turn to go ahead and face the Black Bear. The gun general could potentially be devastating for the Bushido general here, too. So the Bushido general is going to want to keep his distance. Do have 150 range Red Bear to match the range of the sharpshooter. We're getting a melee charge here towards the Black Bear infantry with the Red Bears. Probably a good idea because he controls the right dojos. The Bushido general now going to charge the gun general, at least attempt to. If it can get there alive, it'll kill the gun general. And it's going to catch them because it's fast. It's got second wind. So yeah, nice play there by the Bushido general. Very interesting to actually see a Bushido general. You don't see those too terribly often. The Red Bears here got a good charge. I don't know if they'll beat the Black Bears. They do have a sword dojo, and I think a workshop also. And then over here we got elite Red Bears and the other Red Bears firing. But yeah, very well done there by Eternal Flame using the Bushido General. So that was actually a pretty cool battle. Haven't seen one just like that yet. Let's jump into the next battle. All right, welcome back to the Bayou Onsen, where the Marvelist here in the white is going to once again take on Eternal Flame, who's over here in the green. He's going to have the Bushido General every time. And this general ability, I'm assuming, I don't remember what it's called, but I'm pretty sure that it helps his men move faster, and it helps their stamina as well. So it's a full Bushido General. We're seeing 2 Yariki, and it looks like the army of Eternal Flame is going to move all to one flank. Some of them may be hidden. Doesn't look like an entire army, and this is from the viewpoint of the Marvelist. Marvelist has 2 Yariki pushing forward, a Revolver Cav, and 2 more Yariki on the other flank. And they are getting charged by a Yariki. If they can hit that Revolver Cav, that's going to be huge. Oh yeah, that's great for... it's not great for the Marvelist, but it's great for Eternal Flame. And he's going to be getting some nice hits here. His Yariki, though, wavering just due to numbers in this general vicinity, but ties down the whole enemy army here. But this time, the Yarikachi of the Marvelist being thrown in. So he's somewhat anticipating a melee rush. A couple of Katana Kachi of his own. In fact, he's brought a huge melee rush, all of his own. Tons of Yarikachi. It looks like Shogatai. This is going to be interesting. So now Marvelist has tried to turn this around, and he's brought the melee rush. But look at this, a Revolver Cavalry combined with a part melee army. Actually, this isn't even really a part... Yeah, it is a part melee army still, but the Revolver Cavalry, not really having to worry about too much shooter infantry here, is going to be able to come in, get some quick kills, and then retreat. It's running away from a Yariki at the moment. And these Yariki coming over the hill are going to be able to ward that off and save the Revolver Cav. So let's see what kind of shooter infantry we have over here. 2 Red Bear backed by a Yarikachi. Again, 2 Red Bear backed by a Yarikachi. And then in the center, we've got a Royal Marine backed by a Spear Levy. And then some cavalry being kind of thrown away here by Eternal Flame. Not sure why he's done this. Maybe he thought he was going to get a hold of a important target, or he just mismicroed or something. So lots of Yarikachi and Spear Levy and other units here. This Eternal Flame's general can capture this archery dojo, and that's going to give a huge benefit to his shooter troops. So that's a good deal. The sword dojo, though, is in control of the... Or Marvelist is in control of the sword dojo, so that's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem for Eternal Flame, that is. So let's see what happens here. Melee troops spread all across the map. They're going to try and make it difficult. This Revolver Cavalry going to come up here and get some point-blank shots on the Spear Levy. They're hoping to... Oh, no. All right, they're going to get away from there. Definitely did not get the shots that he wanted. But the Red Bear Infantry now getting some great shots. There's going to be so much more melee infantry, and with the influence of the Sword Dojo, going into melee is going to be rough for Eternal Flame. But he does have a ton of shooting power, and if he uses it properly, he's going to be able to kite and destroy this this all-melee army. And the capture of this archery dojo is just going to assist that. So his guys are going to have excellent shooting stats. The Revolver Cavalry trying to make quick in-and-out runs here and just shoot the crap out of the melee infantry, and it should be able to. It's just, it is not opening fire. So I don't know if he's got fire at will off or something's messed up or what. Yarikachi gets out here to intercept. It's going to get overwhelmed. The Red Bears are going to have to flee back. Royal Marines just absolutely unloading here. A Revolver Cavalry here very close to the enemy. It's being charged down by the General's Hatamoto. The General here was actually changed. That's not the same General. I didn't know you could do that in this tournament. I thought that was against the rules. We'll see. I didn't think you could change your General. Maybe you can't switch avatars is what it is. You probably can't switch avatars, but you're probably allowed to redo your General if you want. But yeah, the shooter troops here in the center are just absolutely wrecking the incoming enemy. The Yarikachi going in to help bear off the enemies of the Royal Marines so that they can keep firing. They've got an excellent position back here, and you can see the melee troops of the Marvelist being driven off the battlefield, though they probably achieved some success from this flank, and they're going to try and transfer over. And it looks like here they're trying to outflank the Royal Marines. And a Yarikachi is a danger in melee to the Royal Marines. The Royal Marines will be better in melee than a standard infantry unit, but still not a fight that they want. The Bushido General dismounting and taking the Yarikachi head on, so it is terribly outnumbered, but the sword on spear there should be pretty good for the Hatamoto. It's got decent sword stats, so they're going to do quite a bit of damage to this Yarikachi, but the numbers of the Yarikachi are a danger. You can see that. I think this is his general right here, cutting that guy up. Pretty sweet. So yeah, he's able to easily push back the melee rush. It looked like he was going to get overwhelmed to me, but he's not. He's going to be able to stand this up. The General's Hatamoto now in combat with a Katana Kachi. A Shogatai over here is going to absolutely tear up this Yarikachi, but the Revolver Cavalry will easily finish off the Shogatai. There's nothing they can do but die at this point. The Shogatai, a very capable melee unit, but it is just going to get absolutely shot to bits. So a valiant effort there by, and it was interesting to see the Marvelist just completely change up his tactics. It did not pay off for him. He changed his tactics, but the interesting thing is that so did Eternal Flame. He switched it up just a little bit. And that little bit of switch up was definitely nice, and he played that well. So we'll be back in the third battle. If Eternal Flame, the player in green, wins this, he takes this series. This is still another round 1 match. So this is a win or you're out type scenario for the Marvelist. All right, so the third match between Marvelist and Eternal Flame is going to be on Foothills, and this is a must-win scenario for Marvelist, or else he will be out. So let's see how this goes. This map, I used to really like this map on traditional Shogun 2 because the hills with kind of the cliff sides broke things up a little, made for some interesting matchlock play and outflanking maneuvers. It was also a potentially interesting place for Kisho Ninja. But this map was a lot of fun. It's got a lot of choke points, so for Fall of the Samurai it can be very interesting. Let's check out the builds because these guys have not just been using the same standard build every time. We are seeing, whoa, artillery on the battlefield right there, getting a piece of that cavalry. So let's see what we've got here. Is it that's an Armstrong gun. So Armstrong guns, the breech-loading cannon unit here, very powerful cannon unit. It does have limited ammunition, so it has to be used well to be worth it, and this is pretty worth it right here, destroying a Yariki before it ever sees combat. We got a Imperial Guard Infantry, Sharpshooter, White Tiger Force over here, and then the 2 Yariki. Up on the hill, there's a General's Bodyguard, which is a gun general once again. Revolver Cav, Black Bear, U.S. Marine, Black Bear, Vermilion Bird Force. Vermilion Bird Force have a encourage other units. Yes, so that's why a lot of times you'll see players using them. And then just 2 more Yariki over here. And here we've got 2 Red Bears backed up by a Yarikachi. And there's another Red Bear Infantry here. I'm guessing 2 more Red Bears on the hill, and yes, another Yarikachi. Still the full Bushido General for Eternal Flame, and he has to guard his Armstrong gun, so he's going to have to play a little bit defensively. But, oh, wow. That canister shot just killed quite a few of this General's bodyguard, so very nice shots there. Let's see. The Sharpshooters do have long range, but with the Armstrong gun, obviously the range advantage in general is going to Eternal Flame. He's got 22 kills with the Armstrong gun, but they're pretty important kills because they were bodyguard kills and cavalry kills. And that can go a long way. Now there's some broken lines of sight here too, so that's something to be aware of with the infantry. This shrine, though, is going to be a pretty important key building. The problem for Eternal Flame is he can't extend too much to take the key buildings because he has to guard that Armstrong gun from enemy cavalry. There is a farmhouse here which is being captured by the Marvelist, and an archery dojo here which is also going to fall to the Marvelist. So dangerous situation here for Eternal Flame. Will the artillery pay off? Will it be worth it, I guess, is the big question. The Yariki of Eternal Flame seeking an engagement, and they're going to get it. So Yariki are going to engage Yariki, and they're going to be victorious over here. The Yarikachi hurrying to the battle to try and help, but I think it's going to be too late. There's going to be at least one Yariki lost here for the Marvelist. Depends on how many losses he can now inflict. So these 3 Yariki are going to have to flee. They're going to take a few losses, but I think that was a pretty good engagement for Eternal Flame. If he can get away here, he's taking some losses to the Gun General. Oh, yeah, and a Revolver Cavalry. So they're going to trade Yariki for Yariki. So that's actually kind of a tough trade for Eternal Flame. He's going to turn around and take this engagement because he's going to win it. But he's going to get destroyed by this Revolver Cavalry. He'll probably end up trading, though, because the Revolver Cavalry will cause friendly fire. So he'll end up trading 2 Yariki for 2 Yariki.
Your men are routing, sir.
And he's being fairly cautious with the ammo on his Armstrong gun. He's not just firing like crazy. 96 kills. And right here he's targeting the U.S. Marine, which is a great target. So still 1 Yariki left over here. And an Imperial Guard Cavalry. I didn't catch that earlier. It is 125 range, not the crazy 150 range one. And another Yariki just being thrown straight in down here. Gun General getting some shots. Gun General at risk of being charged here. Oh, wow. Yeah, the Gun General gets caught. And he's going to die. If the General survives this, it is miraculous. And with the death of the General, you're probably going to... Oh, yeah. It's bad. That's going to hurt morale really bad over here. We've got a successful melee rush underway here. Yes, they're going to take losses, but these Yarikachi are going to absolutely clean up these Black Bear. So here comes the charge. Black Bear trying to flee back. The artillery is absolutely shredding the U.S. Marines. Though this Vermilion Bird Force here is trading shots with enemy infantry. And they do have the archery dojo, so they're going to be in a pretty good position. This Imperial Guard Cavalry, though, here just shooting up a Yarikachi, and there's nothing the Yarikachi can do about it because their cavalry support was lost. The Revolver Cav here, though, unopposed, 135 kills. Let's see, over here, just kind of a holding force. The Sharpshooters do have the longer range, but they're not getting any kills. The Imperial Guard Cavalry can mess up this whole flank, really, if it's used properly. I think the General's going to charge in down here and try and maybe finish off some of these infantry, but that's risky because there's a U.S. Marine in the background, just in and of being risky, period. So the Bushido General being taken into combat, it's going to need to pin down these units very quickly. It's going to end up running. The Imperial Guard Cavalry just shredding the Yarikachi. If the General's Hatamoto can get away alive, I think this battle's probably going to go to Eternal Flame. But this unit turning back around. I thought that the General was going to flee the area, but he turns back around. He's going to die in this combat if he's not dead already. I think that this ability actually makes the General the last man alive. Or can make him the last one alive. So, yeah, he is the last one alive. The General was the last guy alive there. He died. So both generals dead at this point. Armstrong gun now being threatened by a Yariki. There is an Imperial Guard Cavalry with 127 kills, which is not bad. The artillery has driven the U.S. Marines off the battlefield, shattering them. And there is spear support and the Guard Cavalry here. So Eternal Flame in pretty decent shape. The biggest thing he has working against him is there are 2 cavalry units left for Marvelist. And Marvelist controls most of the... key buildings. He's got this farmhouse, which is going to make him faster, and he's also got the archery dojo, which is going to make his missile units more effective. So, but the artillery is making its presence felt. You can see this Yariki is actually just wavering because of the dead general. So the Marvelist is going to feel compelled to do something about this artillery piece, and if he had both of these cavalry up here at the same time, he might be able to push the issue. Imperial Guard Cavalry here, though, just killing a ton of Yariki. It's going to be hard for them to flee because of the effects of the farmhouse. Oh, they didn't give chase, though, because there was a support infantry. Very nice use of artillery here. 215 kills. Killed a U.S. Marine. Damaged the enemy general heavily. So getting it up on this hill, and it's kind of forced the Marvelist into trying to attack. And he's been able to play defensively. And again, this hill position... Nice use of an Imperial Guard Cavalry. I don't always see these guys really well used in the game because they're pretty expensive, but this one has got a lot of kills. And it's going to continue to be a dangerous unit in this battle because it can pretty much mop up what's left of this Yariki in a single volley. Over here we've got a Yarikachi starting the charge, and then the Imperial Guard Cavalry is going to hit them with flank shots here as they retreat. Let's see if it gets shots. It does. So it's going to get shots on the Black Bear. Yariki inbound, but the Imperial Guard Cavalry can target it as well, and now they're going to fall back, not wanting to be shot. Instead, the Black Bear infantry taking the brunt of that assault. Over here, though, the sharpshooters, or no, this is an Imperial Guard infantry trading shots with the Red Bear infantry. They will certainly win that engagement. Imperial Guard Cavalry, 164 kills. Artillery still alive, being protected by a Red Bear. If this Imperial Guard Cav gets shots, it'll probably it's probably going to defeat that Yariki. Maybe not, though. If it tries to run away, it's going to take a lot of losses. It's going to be a fairly close battle here. This Imperial Guard infantry doing a real number over here, and then you got these sharpshooters kind of shooting their own men in the back, but they're helping that White Tiger force. So let's take inventory of what's left. We've got a Yarikachi, but with this Imperial Guard Cavalry, it is pretty much over for the Marvelist. He's not going to be able to protect his flanks from that Imperial Guard Cav while also facing the enemy. And then it depends on how much ammo is left in this Armstrong gun as well. So yeah, the Imperial Guard Cavalry should be able to go completely behind the enemy, and it'll help make an opening for the Yarikachi. The Yarikachi could use these woods to rush through as well. Armstrong gun is wavering. Let's see, it's using its targeted shot ability right now, so it should make it more accurate. We got wavering units, though, here for Eternal Flame. He's getting them into combat, which is good. That should help stabilize them a bit if they're winning. Yep, Armstrong gun getting some nice shots. That's going to put some combat or some morale penalties on here eventually. And this Yarikachi is rushing, and none of the gun units have a particularly good shot at it. The Imperial Guard Cavalry now coming down from behind, and it is looking like this is going to swing entirely in favor of Eternal Flame, though it was a very close fight here in this battle. Here comes the Yarikachi, charging valiantly into battle. This Imperial Guard Infantry turning around to meet the Imperial Guard Cavalry. This is a White Tiger force, sorry. Yeah, and they're going to rout. They can't handle the morale shock here. So the enemy troops being chased down by Yarikachi here. Very beautiful battle. Well played by both players, but very well done to Eternal Flame there. That was a 3-and-out victory for him. Very nice use of the Bushido General. Interesting army picks, and I really like the diversity he used there. But I also like the fact that Marvelist was also switching up his tactics. Made this one really interesting. So hope you all enjoyed this series of battles. HeirofCarthage signing off for now. I will see you again soon.